Welcome back to Queen Beauty Podcast. I'm your host, Quandras, Queen of Moments.
And I am your lovely co-host, Elise Emost, Queen of Connections. What's up,
And
y'all?
we are so excited. We are so excited for y'all to be a part of this episode. We're doing something a little different. Tell them what we're
Yes,
doing, Elise.
we decided that we were going to do a reverse podcast. So we have amazing young people in our lives. My niece and Quandras' daughter will be doing a takeover. Essentially, they're doing a whole
Mm-hmm.
takeover. They are going to be interviewing us. So our first guest, who you're going to hear from soon, is my amazing and awesome niece, Sule Indigo. Goes by Indigo. A mogul in the making, and so amazing. Oh my God, that conversation
Mm-hmm.
about
Yes.
radical self-care and the importance of it. Like, what?
Y'all are in for a treat. Y'all are in for a treat. I'm excited for y'all. I'm excited for me. I can't wait to go back and listen again.
I was just surprised and excited while she was speaking. There were so many points that she made, and I was like, yes, girl, yes.
Yes, right? It gives me like hope. It gives me like hope
Yes.
for the future in a way that like it's not like I didn't have hope before, but it seems like they're waking up to like the things probably a little sooner than we did when it comes to like
Yes.
like she said, overconsumption and all of these things. I think that they're like, I don't know about that, even though it's like it's easy to fall into.
Yeah.
So I was very excited to have that conversation with her. She's a beautiful person, first of all. I knew she was gonna say some stuff that blew my mind.
We gonna make it do what it do. Check it out.
Hey, hi Sule. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm doing well. How are y'all
We're
today?
doing good. We're so excited to have you here. So we know we're doing this a little bit different, and we're gonna have you
Mhm.
interview us, which we've never done, you've never done. So this is gonna be a journey,
Yes,
all in the name of self-care.
absolutely, absolutely. And I really love self-care so much. I think for me, I'm elder Gen Z, so I was born in the year
Okay.
2000. For me, self-care has been something that's kind of been like floating around in like the general lexicon for quite some time. But it kind of like when I think of self-care, my mind almost immediately kind of goes to imagery of like lots of products,
Mm.
skincare,
Mm.
Girl, we
healthcare,
talk about my self-care I just put on today before I got together. Now, granted, it's
skincare.
black owned, brown sugar
Okay,
baby.
well, there you
So
go.
Good.
when I self-care, I was like,
Spreading
okay,
the wealth.
products. It makes me feel good. I feel like a lady. I don't know. It feels like I
Feel
feel
like
good.
a woman. One of those. You silly.
But go ahead.
Yes, perfumes, oils, nails, hair. These are like all parts of the way that we keep up with
Yes.
ourselves. But I also like to see self care as something that is separate from just things you can buy,
Mm-hmm.
experiences that you can
Yes.
have through spending money because it's something that is
Right.
essential. As much as it is a privilege, as much as it is a treat, it's also kind of like you can't really operate without self care. So I want to start off with this quote by activist, scholar, writer Audre Lorde.
Mm.
Caring for myself is not self-indulgence; it is self-preservation, and that is an act of political warfare. I think for us, especially as Black women, I think like taking care of ourselves and kind of like stoking our own fires and doing the things that we need to do to keep ourselves healthy and kind of like able to pour into ourselves and pour into the people around us as needed is kind of like it's not a luxury.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a
Yeah.
necessity. It's a necessity. So I want to start with my first question, the first serious topic I wanted to bring
Okay.
up, which was for me, as someone who is now firmly in their mid 20s, sometimes I feel like 30 is like,
Come
oh, it's
on.
like around the corner. It's not quite, but it's there. What are some times in your life, especially as young adults, that you needed to practice self care the most? When and why were you like feeling the most depleted? And what forms of self care would you encourage yourself in the past to engage in
That's a
now?
loaded question.
And I want you to really especially think back to like times, before you were the successful, beautiful businesswoman that you were, when you were getting out the mud, when you were, taking on more responsibilities and kind of like trying to still balance that with taking care of yourself.
Mm.
I need to answer this real quick before I let it go, because if my memory serves you right, niece, I am 14 years older than you. So if I go back about 14 to maybe 16 years ago to put myself in your age group, I was my mid 20s. And I do believe that is when I started running. That's when I embraced my running journey in 2009, 2010, which between 2000, I would say 2010 really, and then
Mm-hmm.
2012,
Mm-hmm.
which was like 13 to 15 years ago. So I think at the time I was in need of self-care. I was not super active often or frequently. I had gone through a little funk where I just didn't really understand like what I wanted to do, like career wise. I was working in a company,
Mm-hmm.
in a corporation, but I wasn't happy. And ironically, I was working with folks who were getting injured, right? Workers' comp. And so I started
Yeah.
running because everything that around me was like negative injury wise. Also, I was gaining weight, so it was kind of like me. And in retrospect, I can actually say this: it was me being um, really aware and taking my body, being grateful of my body and not taking it for granted, because I was seeing how
Mm.
people were getting hurt and not being able to go back to work, and they were injured and going to doctors. And I was like, I don't ever want my life to be just me sitting up at the doctors. And some of those people were in their 30s and 40s, right? Where I am now. And I was like, these
Mm-hmm.
people don't have a life. They're literally at the doctors all day. I want to be living a little bit healthy.
Living.
Yeah. And so to answer your question, like that was the time that I identified that I needed some more self care. My self care practice at the time was running,
Yeah.
because running helped me feel better. Like it just made me feel better. I started to like be more happy and exude joy. And that was prior to that, I didn't have
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that response too because I think it touches on something that I really want to focus on, which is the separation of self care from like the from consumption and from like spending money directly. Because sometimes self care isn't easy. Sometimes self care is like pushing
Yes.
yourself or reaching for something
Mm.
that's like
Mm-hmm.
a stretch. But sometimes it's hard because I'm like, for those I don't know if everyone here knows, but she's not talking about no jogs down the street, okay?
No.
You know what I mean? Sometimes self care is really like doing something that's hard or even doing something that not necessarily puts you in pain. I mean, you shouldn't be hurting
Right.
yourself exercising or taking up anything new, but pushing yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and that is also a way of taking care of
Mm-hmm.
yourself. So
That.
I love
Yes.
that. I love that.
I think for me, it's interesting the way that you describe self-care with the consumption and the overconsumption. And I do see that a lot today. I think that when we kind of thought about self-care and our when we were in your age range, it was a little bit different. It was like self-care Sundays was really big,
Yeah.
and it's like a reset thing happening, and people were buying
Mhm.
themselves their own flowers. Like you wasn't waiting for nobody. We're going to go to this little market. We're gonna buy our own flowers. And I remember starting to do those little things like that for myself when I was
Mhm.
in that around that same age range. And you get your own place for yourself, and you put your little decorations and all
Oh
of that
yeah.
stuff. And
Oh,
but
I
for
remember
me, my self-care for me was definitely it was flowers. It was flowers. It was running. I think running gave me that sense of community, and it was yoga. Those were those things for
that. Mhm.
me that helped a lot. I think yoga was one of the bigger ones that helped
Oh my
me.
gosh.
And I found yoga through running because I wasn't stretching properly in my knees. I'm like, I can't be having issues with my knees already. Like, I'm in my 20s. What is going on? So I found yoga just to stretch, and I'm super competitive. I remember going to my first yoga class, like, this is about to be a mess. Let me go lift some weights. Let me go run 2, 3 miles first and then do yoga. caught like 2 foot cramps because I know I was probably gonna be working out in there. And but I took that and I took going to some yoga classes and I brought that practice at home by myself because like you said, it's like this overconsumption. If you want to get
Mhm.
in yoga, and especially like this Western way of doing yoga, you gotta go get your mat that costs a gazillion dollars and you gotta go get
Yes.
bands and but I was
The Lululemonification of it
right.
all.
And it's like I was
For
fortunate enough
real.
to have like a yoga instructor who was not she was from here, but she didn't do it and like you had to have all these bells and whistles. It was
Mhm.
like get a mat. If you don't have a mat, just do it on the ground. Like it's probably better to just be in some grass and touch the ground. So I was privileged to have and it's free. Like you can do it on your own if you can't make it to the gym, like you can do it on your own. So that helped me a lot. And what made me have to do that was work. Kind of the same
Mhm.
thing. And it's funny you said like you feel like 30 is peeking around the corner because I think that's around the time where I was like, I need to do something. And I felt like but I didn't know what. And I felt like
Right.
I should be like somewhere. Yeah, I don't know
Yes.
where
Yeah.
was, but it was like an internal like anxiety for me. That was
Mhm.
like peeking his head. I guess each decade you feel like, oh, I should be, because that decade is coming, I should be here. And
Mhm.
only to realize that you're fine. You're right exactly
Right.
where the world that God wants you to be
Absolutely.
at this moment
And
learning and
there's
going through
no
what you're
journey.
going through
Right.
and for real.
There's no
And
guiding,
so
I should say. There's no guiding principle on what like
yes.
that path is gonna be. Everybody's
Agreed.
gonna have their own.
Yeah, everybody has their own path. And it was like me practicing self-care. The more I practiced it, the more I became aware that it's like my race, my pace. That's one of the running things that you say in like the running community.
I love
My
Yeah.
that.
race, my pace is my life, and I'm going to take the strides the way that it makes sense for me to take them based off of the
Mhm.
information that I have so far. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like
Yeah.
I should already have all the information, and that you shouldn't. It's still a whole lot left to learn.
Yes. Yes. That's something I'm like, I hope to be 70 one day and still having a lot to learn and
Right,
feeling like
Same.
right.
I'm finished or like I'm still working on things. But I really love your answer. If you're listening at home, you might be rolling your eyes. I know I used to roll my eyes about the yoga, y'all. It is that
It's
good.
that work,
It really
right?
is that good. And it's cheap, it's free. YouTube is free. Um there's a plethora of um resources to engage in yoga. 5 minutes,
Yep.
15
Hmm.
minutes, an hour. You don't really have to be good at it to get the benefits from it, and actually being bad at it and still going through with completing it is a huge part of what yoga is.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And what I love about yoga is that it can, if you want to tie it to, having a spiritual or religious kind of like practice, mindfulness and taking that time to not only ground yourself in your body but in your spiritual thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
it's a wonderful, wonderful practice for
Yeah.
that. I
Absolutely.
cannot. I love yoga.
So
Absolutely.
I love my little 15-minute
I
yoga.
do
Like
too. So it used to be that it was this app that I found, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm gonna fact check myself at the end of this. I think it was called Down Dog, and it was like it had different levels of expertise, so like beginner, medium hard, and then it had minutes.
Mhm.
So like you can do yoga for like 7 minutes, or you could do yoga for like an hour. You could do whatever your jam was, whatever you had time for.
Mhm.
You can do that, and it was cool because it was free. It was a free app. So you could do it at home. You didn't have to be all like the things. And then when I got into the
Yes.
meditative side of it and I realized yoga was more than just like the asanas, the stretches, which is beautiful. But when I realized you can connect it to your spirituality, I thought that that was
Mhm.
even better. And for me, I'm Christian, right? And I was
Mhm.
weirded out in the beginning because we had to do the chants and I'm like, I don't know what they saying, I didn't know what was going on. So for me, what made me feel comfortable before I learned what they were saying was repeating something in my head that I knew what it was in English. Like I would just say what I
Mhm.
wanted to say in my
Mhm.
it's
Right.
because we feel like again, you gotta be boxed into doing things like how they tell you to do it, go get the things, say this, say no, you could do it your own way, you
Mhm.
know?
All about your
I
own
think
journey.
we're
Yeah, definitely.
we mess up as society, and I would go back to the quote. I don't even know if they say this now, but your little permanent record. where people think like you have to follow this this rule book, this playbook for everything. So the work that we're talking about, self-care practices, we talk about yoga, we talk about stretching, we talk about running, we talk about pavement, right? Very basic,
Yes.
basic. Yet
Very
in
basic.
Western society, America, North America, the beautiful
Specifically.
specifically,
Mm-hmm.
we find a way to create a overconsumption mentality. So same like you're
Yeah.
talking about with yoga is free, running is free, right? Meanwhile, you got people running marathons, going across the country, paying thousands of dollars to
Mm-hmm.
participate in these events. And now all of a sudden you need two full-time jobs to sustain yourself because
To sustain your self-care. Let me
Yes.
say.
And that's how self-care can literally turn into
It
self-harm. It can
can.
literally turn on its head, and you can literally start hurting yourself in the pursuit of trying to take
Oh,
care of yourself. It's such
that's
a
a
slippery
message.
Can I
slope.
say
That's a message.
something?
I got my
Can
hands
I
up.
say
I'm
something?
thanking the Lord.
Something you just said, Elise, just sparked like a core memory of
Yeah.
mine where I feel like I really actually truly started self-care. And it was when I got locks. It was when I got locks
Mm.
Are we talking
because
about March
prior,
of 2008?
yes, yes.
You know,
It was probably when I decided to go natural and it was around that period, that year, because, and I'll share, I remember I was in college. I couldn't keep up with it because it's expensive to do all of the things with the hair and hair products and the weave and all the things. I just didn't have the money for it. It's expensive if you wanted to look nice, right?
Peak 2008.
Or it's time consuming to try
It
to
was
figure it out on your own.
expensive.
So I remember being home half in tears because my perm didn't come out right, right? And
I
I'm
remember.
like, I had this bandana. I'm trying to make this scarf work. I didn't know what to do. I had to be to class. And I was like, I'm not
Wait,
going. I'm not going to
Quandras,
class.
stop it.
I'm not doing
What,
my thing. I can't leave. I can't do my normal day to day because of my hair,
Quandras,
right? Hmm?
what was the
I've been
name
there.
of that perm?
I knew you was
That
going to go
chick
there.
was
This is
talking about?
PTSD, Elise. You keep bringing
Oh,
it up. Every time I forget, we
that,
did these natural perms. It was, if I'm not mistaken, it was like PPC, PJ. What is it called? It was the three
it was
letters.
a texture
PJ.
softener. It was supposed to
It,
it was supposed to
yeah,
soften
one of
the
them just for me
natural
brands.
curls. And we thought,
Natural curls.
Oh,
So
so it was
they
like a
had
it was like a
they had the
texturizer.
mixed girl on the box, and her hair was like doing like this with the curls. It was real cute. We thought we gonna be, for y'all who can't see and listening, I'm like wiggling my fingers with the curls. That's how we thought we were gonna look naturally from this natural perm. How long it take, Lisa? Maybe 3 days for our hair to fall out? How long was
no,
it?
it
Because
was
our hair was falling out.
a couple months.
Fall
It was a
out.
couple months
Combing it,
because we went
whole
through a whole
comb of
period.
hair.
Yeah.
Whole comb of hair. Whole combs of it was just comb come out. It's like from a movie. And it was crazy because we were roommates at the time. Elise was upstairs in her room. I'm downstairs in my room. And we just simultaneously, all I hear is screams, and I'm
Both of y'all
screaming, and
like,
she's screaming. We
ah!
running. We ran to meet in the middle. Like, what happened? With our hair in our hand
It was
from our
horrible.
natural perms.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was done. I was done. I was like, cut the cameras. I'm over it.
It's
I'm
time to go
done.
natural.
No, like real
And then,
natural. Real
so lady,
natural.
you inspired us. I think you got
The
locked
lady,
before us.
I was gonna say that. You took the words right out of my mouth. The woman who was sitting on this call was 7 years old. Sule
Yes,
Indigo was the person
beautiful,
that inspired
confident. Because I always used to say, I'm not getting locked till I'm like real old. I'm like 40.
at
Here I
least in
am.
my 30s.
I'm not old. I was like, when I don't care about nothing anymore, then I'll get locked. And here she is coming, gorgeous, 7, confident, brave. I'm getting locked. Somebody be like, what?
Cause I'm trying to think, cause I think Nanya had them
Selena,
first.
your
Nanya,
mother.
for the people at home, was it mom? Cause I was like, yeah, cause I know someone. Yeah, and I was like, you know what? I need to get into the. To me, it was the peak of all. It was the peak of all beauty.
Oh, that's
When you said that.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Sule, I will tell you,
yeah.
I remember like it was yesterday when you inspired me to do it because you said something so innocently out of the mouths of babes. I was
Yes.
like, you know, you're going to have to cut your hair when you want to take them out, your locks, and you were like, "Yeah, it's just hair. Don't cut it; it'll grow back." And I was like, "Oh."
And what did I do?
And that was the statement. That was the statement that made me
Right.
want to get them. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"You're right. It is just hair. It will grow back." Like
Just
it was
there.
a very basic
It
statement.
always grows back.
It was a very
Stays
basic
that
statement, but
was
it was so
it
impactful.
was. It was very impactful, and it was also impactful the fact that you saw your mom and you saw your grandma
Yes.
with locks, and then I think for Shania, she saw all of us with locks, and she got
Mm-hmm.
locks. I think she was in like the fourth grade or something like that, and she had her locks because beauty is, usually you look to your family and whoever is around you in your environment, and that's what you see beauty in, and it's
Mhm.
becomes a beautiful thing to you.
Yeah.
So,
It
you
I,
know,
does.
I,
That's a great
oh, go
segue.
ahead. I can go on all day. Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say that's a great segue because I also want to talk about kind of like when we talk about self care as a more holistic practice, when we talk about self care as a radical act, it's not just for us and our own individual selves, but it's also in the way that it affects the people around
mhm,
us and how we relate to our community. Because I'm even thinking about the way how those decisions that you've made about your hair and decisions to pour love into yourself and your natural state and wearing your hair and how that ripples through your family, how it rippled through our
Yeah.
families, and like how important that is not only for self-confidence but how you choose to that self-confidence that builds up from that, how you choose to move through the world, the decisions that you choose to make when you have that root in yourself and your identity,
mhm,
and I just really like think I think self-care, though it some literally the word self is in it, so sometimes it inspires thoughts of like, this is for me and I need to, be by
Right.
myself and like be on my couch and like, and those things are very important because you can't pour into other cups without your cup being full. But I think it's just that itself, you can't support your community unless you are taking care of yourself.
facts,
So in taking care of yourself, you are taking care of your community.
facts.
So my next question would be, what benefits do you get for yourself for your self care, and like what ways do you see yourself able to show up more for your community when you have a full cup and when you are taking
Mhm,
care of yourself? I think the example of the locks is such a perfect example of how those things that we do for ourselves kind of like filter downward. Like for me, for
Mhm.
example, when I started doing my yoga practice, it was for me specifically. It was I was working out a lot. I was feeling sore, and I wanted to be more flexible. And I've been able to bring that practice to other people in my life,
Yeah.
as well as just been able to move through the world, kind of like with a little bit more grace and a little bit more ability to be slow in my reactions and a little bit more
mhm.
mindfulness. And I
That's
feel like
important.
in making those moves to help myself, I also see it benefiting like my community around me.
Agreed. I would say the same
Yes.
thing. I would say that I know that for me, it it just brings a sense of peace, right? Oh, the peace. When I'm actually
Mhm.
practicing like a good self-care, mindful, like a deep type of self-care.
Yeah.
It gives me a peace, and it gives me joy. And you need that, and the community can definitely feel that, especially if you have like a responsibility in a community of whatever sort. Like if you're around people, you have a responsibility. And I know for me, like it brings about like a creativity. It sparks that up a little bit for me. It sparks up just like a nurturing type of vibe. Like I guess from being mindful versus, like you said, like being
Mm.
like snappy is a
Yeah.
big difference. I notice even within myself when I have those moments of self-care versus when I don't, and people around me can feel it. I know that they can.
Yeah,
I know that they can. Like
exactly.
from
Good
I will
people.
go
Good
from
people.
being like I can figure this out. We got this. Like I will have rallying of the troops to do this impossible task and make it sound as easy
Mhm.
as Sunday morning, like a piece of cake. Like we're gonna get through. But if I have not filled up my cup, if I have not practiced self
Yes.
care, if I am not grounded, I'm like, this is finna be a mess. It's gloom and doom. It is no, this ain't
Mhm.
gonna work.
Mhm.
And I'll in my head and probably out loud say a million reasons why it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
I'll talk everybody out of it. I'll do the exact opposite.
Totally.
So I know that it makes a big difference to like even if the self care for that moment is getting some sleep. It's for usually the sleep and food are usually at the
Are
top
pretty
of like the
important.
podium because low
Absolutely.
sugar,
Mhm.
you know, it'll do a
That's so
thing to
true.
you.
Very much so.
Absolutely. That's good, Quandras. I was asking you who the people who you making your life bad around.
Who the people? It could be. I don't want to say anybody could get it, but I do want to say. I do want to say, like, get that word. But it's like I think my personality. It might not come off. It is so funny when I see people experience me. It's like me floating, and I see people experience
You coming
me.
down and looking
It's
at yourself.
I don't have to do anything crazy. I can literally just stop smiling, and they're like,
No. Oh my God.
I
So
could just be completely straight faced, and that will be enough to like rock a few boats.
there's a reason.
To be honest, yes.
I'll say there's a reason that Quandras and I are best friends because we're not exactly the same, but we have very similar mannerisms. And because like Quandras has like a sing-songy voice and it's like whimsical, and like mine is just bubbly. And when they're not happening, people receive it in a big way, and they see and they pick up on it really quickly, and it's like, what's
Really
wrong?
quick.
Whoa.
Hmm.
Okay, like, and so sometimes I have to catch myself when I know I'm not actively taking care of myself, right? If I'm tired, overworked, whatever, it will come off in how I give myself to the world, and people are so used to experiencing me with so much joy, which said joy, and that was the word that I was thinking about preparing for today. When I saw your questions, Sule, I was like, one of the biggest benefits for me is walking around with joy. Like, people want to be around you, like you said. Like, sometimes it's for other people, and one of the biggest compliments that I get regularly is like, I enjoy you. Like, I want to be around you. And like, that feels good to know that my energy is one in which others want to receive. Right. And
Yes,
that is something that I think is so important because you never know who is watching you.
you
You don't
don't.
know. And one of the
This
biggest,
is so
So
true.
true.
you just don't know, and you don't know how much, what little bit of joy you give could change somebody's life or make their day a lot brighter than what it was, because you don't know what
That's
everybody's
true.
walking to or walking towards. So like you said, like, I love that you called out the fact that people see, self-care as an individual, like, let me get mine, bum bum bum, but it's really, you can go out into the world and be joy, be the piece of light that somebody didn't get that day, or you could be the person get splashed with the water because you're just giving all this bad energy. Like,
Yes, yes. Like I think that the comment for you said the comment for you was you said you bring joy, and I think for me it's bringing calmness and peace to
yes,
a chaotic situation. That's usually me. That's usually how I am. I'm calm. I can if it's chaos happening and I actually start to panic, I think that would freak a lot of people out. I
I
think it
wouldn't
would
know
freak
how
people
to do
out.
it.
But
I
it's
wouldn't
just like
know.
be the peace. That was my one of my favorite quotes is be the peace you want to see in the world. Like, so you have to bring it. Be the peace, be the joy, be that, that light that this world desperately needs. But you can't do any of that, like you said Sule earlier, if you're not pouring into yourself in a real way. In a real way.
Yes,
Hmm.
and the real way too, and that's what I'm saying. Like, not just in exercising, because I'm like, it's tough too. Because I also want to say, like, I do think there is a lot of room for splurging on
Yeah.
yourself. I like to do it. I'm a huge seafood fan. I'm the first person to be like, you know what, tonight we're just gonna have
I
scallops.
was just
Oh yes, yes.
Sule, you be
So I
cooking.
think I think it's like super important to splurge
I
on
agree.
yourself, but I want to, like, when I say the word self-care, when I think of the practice of self-care, I think I don't want it to be something that's trivialized down to just spending money or down to just, little tchotchkes or even a vacation, because it is integral. I think from political activists to trades workers
Mm.
to political people in politics to moms
Hmm.
to siblings to people who are taking caretakers,
Hmm.
people who are taking care of family members. It is so important
Yes.
to genuinely pour into
Yeah.
yourself.
Yes.
And it's not an act of selfishness. It's a radical act of compassion for the people around you,
Mm.
It
not just
is. It
yourself.
is.
I even think about, like you're doing yoga, like you're saying with running, but kind of like even in keeping up with your physical health and allowing your, like, pouring into your body so that it can have longevity, so that you can be here for longer, so that you can be in community for longer. That's taking care of yourself, but that directly affects your community. You're there for your
Yeah.
family members longer, you know? And I think it's a really beautiful thing, you know? I think it's such an important thing. And I think I hate the idea that, especially for younger generations coming up on social
Mm-hmm.
media with algorithms that are being driven by content that catches your
Yes.
eye, using buzzwords that
Yes.
can be regurgitated really easily.
Mm-hmm.
I think of like these there's this body scrub, Tree Hut body scrub. I don't know if any of y'all have ever seen it
Mm-mm.
at Target.
I see it.
That like, and I love it. I'm not even gonna lie. But like, you know, buying every single colorway of something, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure that's the thing too, is I'm sure it does feel really good, but just because something feels good doesn't necessarily mean
Yes.
it's the same thing as taking care of yourself.
Agreed,
Right.
especially since I started looking into toxins, because if we want to get into it from like a taking care of your body standpoint,
Right.
mixed with like capitalism and how they just want you to overconsume, like even with the hair, like going natural. Now there's all these natural hair products, like I don't get it, but
Right.
it's like, and they're really expensive. But even with like the
Yeah.
skin, and we want to take care of our skin, and we want the skin to be natural, and it says all natural, and then you look on the back, and it's this like long list of ingredients. It's
You can't even
not
pronounce.
natural. It's not natural. And sometimes those are disruptors to our like our hormones. And so we're having all of this irritation and weight gain and oily skin or bumps or pimples or whatever, trying to take care of
Mhm.
ourselves using these natural product hair falling out, right?
Right.
Please. Hair
Mhm.
fall using these natural products, right? And trying to take care of ourselves, but we have to be mindful of what we're putting on our skin and what we're doing
Right.
in our environment. Like we got to remove the deep work is removing toxic stuff, whether that's people, whether that's your negative thoughts, whether it's that
Mhm.
lotion that you smells really good, but it has a host of hormone
Yeah.
disruptors in it. You know what I mean? Because of
Mhm.
all of those ingredients on the back. Like if you can't eat it, we shouldn't be putting it on our bodies. This is my new thing.
And I want to lift up one thing too about this art of self-care. Like as I know we talked about like the why and the benefits, like why we got started, the benefits of self-care. I want to raise
Mhm.
this topic of like the how it's evolved because for me, it
Yeah.
has evolved where I recognize for at least oh gosh, the past 5 years, I would say that it's so important for me to have a little of my me time in the morning, the time for myself
Mm.
impacts the rest of my day. Like doing what exactly what I want to do. Now everybody has their own window of what's important, but I wake up real early. When I don't wake up really early and dedicate time for me to do what I want to do,
Mhm.
I realize that my day's not as good. It's not as productive. I don't feel as great about anything. Like it's a
Yeah.
sourly moment because I didn't take the time to have like a pour into me. So like
Mhm.
I go to voicemail in the morning, or I may not like have the moment to just respond or be as responsive because I need that time. Like it's a necessary.
Mhm.
These last
Mhm.
couple years, especially, that is a radical act of self care. Like if I'm being honest, for me, that morning time, like not scheduling any morning meetings by any means necessary unless I absolutely have to, or just having like my morning time just for me is so important.
Mhm. I like that. I like that a lot, and I think we have to be intentional about how we're pouring into ourselves, like plan it. I think Michelle Obama said that. Like, how are you planning for you? Sometimes we plan for everybody else, and we plan to do the things like our goals or whatever. But how are we planning that self care part? And sometimes it takes that because if you don't plan for you, no one else is going to plan for you. They're going to plan something else for them for you, but they're not going to plan for you for you.
Absolutely.
So I think that that's important and it shifts like how that looks and it's okay, but it might shift depending on where you are in life. You know what I'm saying? So I did have moments depending on
Mhm.
my job where early in the morning would work that would work well. And like now with like the kids and having to get them up and out the door, my mornings are it's out of the question. It's completely out of the question.
Yes.
And for me, it's turning into the
Yes.
night. And I used to be an early bird. I'd be counting my hours of sleep. At least no, I'd be like, hey, what time is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. I gotta go to bed. Like I gotta run. I gotta go to bed. So, but now it's like the nighttime. And for me, I have to have some time at night because that's when I'm setting things
Mhm.
up for my next day.
Mm,
Like I gotta make sure the clothes are out. make sure I know what snacks are going to be, make sure anything I have to do for myself I can do. I can watch my little thing on TV that I can't watch when the kids
Yes.
are up, those little types of things. I find that I can do that at night now, and it might shift again, I'm sure it will, but you just have to find those moments.
You just said something. That shifting,
Yes.
that's like
Mhm.
what we are on right now. It could change, like, because we're gonna have a shift, right? I reached
Mhm.
a point where I didn't have that.
Very
Like,
true.
what I need right now wasn't my morning time. Like, I didn't care. Like, wake up, roll out of bed, make it happen. Like, and just jump right into it. But
Yes.
Mhm.
over time, it's evolved. Like, Quandras is like, it might shift, and like that's something that I'm recognizing at this big age that is important. Like, that evolution is going. It might look different next week, a year from now.
Year to year, month to month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
depending,
As
you might
much as we
have
would
a
love
like
to
a
like.
crazy project at work, you know what I
Correct.
mean? And it might shift then because you might be all hands on deck or whatever the case, where you might have to shift some things around. And I think that knowing that it's going to shift and having that in the back of your mind, that's another form of self-care, because you're not going to like instantly panic and shut down and be like, "Oh no." You're
Yes.
just going to be like, "This is temporary. I got to do this for now." And then I'm going to get back to it. I'm
Yeah.
going to get back to it. And
That's
the
that
biggest part for me, yeah, the biggest part for me when I had the babies and I was pregnant and things like that, and each one was a little bit different. They're 7 years apart. The world was different with each one. There's different things happening,
Mm-hmm.
but it was just like shifting. That change is difficult, and having those self-care moments during those changes, and knowing that it's going to be different things that you need self-care wise. Then I think that that's important to know too. If not, you just, when the change happens, you're going to be like, who am I? What is going on? What do I even do? But you're
Mm-hmm.
shifting, you're changing, you're growing, and that's a good sign.
Mm.
Hmm.
Definitely the self care strategies of your present. As much as I think, as much as we would love to like buy all the right things, have the perfect routine, and somehow that leads to like the perfect
Right.
life, and then I can just do it forever. It's an ever evolving balancing of this, balancing of that, spinning these plates, and you mentioned like having to shift your routine. You have your morning. Your morning is busy, so now it's coming out of your evening hours. But how would you need that time for
Yep.
yourself
Hmm.
to be able to support your
Mm.
family, and so I think it's inevitability. Beautiful thing about being a human.
Yes, because
Beautiful thing about being human, but a complicated
yes,
thing.
everything is cyclical, and it's going to keep happening again and again until we evolved. And that little point of like evolution, we panic. We do sometimes, a lot of times we panic, and it's
Hmm.
uncomfortable, but it really is a sign of growth. It's a sign
Yeah.
of something's growing. When stuff is shifting, is growing. You know what I mean? It's changing, and that's okay. That's okay.
Hmm.
That's a good thing, because that would be boring if it just stayed the same. To me, I don't know. Everything just always completely. It gets stale. It gets old quick.
Yeah, and I think
Absolutely.
just a little bit of a segue, like bringing it in, an element of pop culture into this conversation. So, brilliant
Hmm.
YouTube video you shared with us, with Angela Davis on the importance of Black radical self care. I think that was the topic. I don't know, but we're probably going to clip to a little video clip of that on this episode, because there's a part
Mm-hmm.
that made me immediately think. I'm trying to stay on brand a little bit about what's going on in society. Um, it made me think about the Super Bowl. So Angela Davis was talking about the importance of Black people to recognize the beauty in the intersection or connection between struggle, art, beauty, and imagination, right? Black
Mm-hmm.
people's
Yes.
self care, like in that self care, right? You're gonna have a form of struggle be present. Like for example, Quandras and I had put some random stuff in our hair, right? Try to get it straight. And we had a struggle. It came out. Guess what? Now we have beautiful locks out of struggle,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
right? So I thought about the Super Bowl, the halftime show, right? The
Yes.
difference
Hmm.
between the art that Kendrick Lamar did last year versus what Bad Bunny did this year. It was celebrated differently. Definitely a celebration of love. Definitely saw struggle in the beauty of Bad Bunny's performance, but in comparison, there was a darker struggle when Kendrick Lamar did his set on the Super Bowl halftime show last year, and
Mm-hmm.
but I appreciated it because he really like depicted us. It was for us, like, because it highlighted our struggle, but it also highlighted the amazing creativity of who Kendrick Lamar is. Like, and so in my mind, when Angela Davis made that statement, I wrote it down in my notes on my phone. I was like, yes, there is a big intersection or connection of all of our self-care being birthed out of this natural struggle, because being Black in America is a struggle, but we have so much creativity that comes from it
every day.
every single day.
But I wouldn't trade it for
Nothing.
anything.
It's beautiful because it's also just as ugly and hard and struggling as it can be. It's so beautiful.
It's so
It's
beautiful.
so
I
beautiful. It's
see
so
it
many
as a
beautiful
privilege.
aspects, and I think that all of the people of color in our country probably have that same like mentality. Because the Bad Bunny, like that was art. It was
It was
very artistic. It was very artistic. It was very show the culture for the culture, for his culture, for a lot of cultures. And I appreciated that, and that was good. It was showing. It was the display of art, struggle,
culture.
joy,
Culture.
culture.
It was. And this is another whole other tangent, but something I love about being Black is that we are Black American, but under the label of Black, like capital B Black, there are people all across diasporas, because there are Black Latinos, and
Yeah.
there are people from, especially
Yeah.
Dominicans. There are
Every
people who
culture.
are
Mm-hmm.
unrecognizable, the Aboriginal people in
Mm-hmm.
Australia. Um, like there are so many people across so many different cultures who are Black, and I just think I think we have a certain connection of a certain struggle. While there are a lot of differences, and I think being Black American is a very unique experience, just as much as being a dark skinned Dominican
Yeah.
person or a Cuban person, dark skinned Cuban person has its own experiences. I do think that we share this common thread of like our peace, our rest, our self care, our joy, our art comes in defiance of the struggle, and it
Mm-hmm.
blooms from the struggle that we
Mm-hmm.
experienced,
Woo!
and
I like
how
that.
far we've
I like
come.
It comes in
Yes,
defiance of the struggle.
yes.
I
it's true.
absolutely
Every
love
Wait.
smile,
that.
That
I
every
love
smile,
it.
every joy.
wait.
Oh
You know I'm gonna do
man.
it.
Yeah,
You can do
yeah.
it, girl.
Yes, yes. From the pressure, from all of the pressure, all of the intense, just pushing down of all of us. We just grow up bigger, higher, stronger, better, more colorful, more us. I love
Yes,
it.
that's why I'm
It,
Yes,
it's
from the
like
struggle.
it's
the
the
number one
resilience.
lesson I want to leave the audience
Mhm.
with today is like your individual self-care is not just individual self-care. It is the proliferation of Black resistance, Black joy. You don't have to be, you don't have to be Black, but if you are Black joy, if you are a member of any diaspora, across the United States, joy of your people that you're proliferating through your acts, and you take that energy, you take that pouring into yourself, and you look around the community and see who you can help. What is it in your power without depleting yourself
Mm.
to do? Um, who can you reach out? Whether it literally be your family member, whether it be a neighbor, whether it be your mom, whether it be your children, whether it be, you know, strangers who are in your community, best friends, people you haven't talked to in months, but you grew up on the same
Mm-hmm.
street.
Mm-hmm.
That's the lesson I want to leave to the audience is
Oh, I love it so much.
I love that. I love
filter your
that.
self care
And
through that.
yeah,
Understand that what you're doing for self care is so important, and
yes.
utilize that energy, utilize that self healing, and try to put it back out into the world in a capacity that doesn't drain you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the balancing
Absolutely.
act is in the capacity that doesn't drain you. And that might be
Yes.
a struggle, right? Because you have to balance, it's almost like a pendulum, right? You got to balance
Mm-hmm.
what level of giving is working for you, and depending on what you have going on and that capacity. We talk a lot about
Mm-hmm.
capacity, and that the shifting is the capacity. But
Yes.
it's so important to be aware of self, right? And be aware of when that shift is like, okay, well, I can give this much. I want to give this much, but I can give this much. And being okay with I
Mm-hmm.
can give this much. And then
Yeah.
talking to the community, and telling the community to be okay with this much, because sometimes your community can expect this much because they're so used to this much.
So used to it. Mm-hmm.
That's so
Yeah.
true. Letting them know that to contribute this much, I need to put this much into myself for a
Just
little
for a
while.
little while.
And
You know.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know when I get back. But
All
for right
right.
now, this has got to go into me so that I can get back to y'all.
I love it. It's
Yeah.
oh, that's such a good I would call that our reflective thought. So Sule,
I would
we
too.
do a reflective thought at the end of all of our episodes, and you just frame that so beautifully. So thank you for that.
Yay! I
You
love
are
that. I love
amazing.
that.
That's my
Yeah,
niece,
you know.
y'all.
Thank
That's my whole
you.
niece.
Yes.
Yay!
Yes. This was so much
Yes,
fun.
the hosts
This was so
the
much
hosts of
fun.
Itty Bitty Podcast have known me since I was a babe.
A babe,
So they have
literally.
seen me through many, many stages,
hmm
many, many haircuts, many, many hair colors.
And I would, it would be remiss of me not for you, not to allow you to tell the people what your business is and how you are, what you doing. Plug yourself, girl.
Absolutely. I am a fine art photographer. I make portraits of black feminine people in kind of antiquated film photography
Love it.
style. And I am also the Atlanta braid princess. And I focus specifically on alternative braid styles for young, cool, hot people in Atlanta. This is one of my favorites. This is the Hime cut, which is a blunt bang that goes into a
I
fall.
love.
Right now, I've got a little bit of tinsel. We've got some neon green hair and a little bit of
Love
rainbow
it.
in this look. So if you've ever had a real like high fantasy idea you wanted to see executed, if you wanted a mix of hair colors that was like red and a little bit of burgundy and maybe a couple sprinkles of ginger in
Yes.
there and kind of like have it into a black ombre and you wanted it to be a little bit curly at the ends and you wanted it to be super long, I am the person you reach out to.
I love.
Yes.
I love that. Oh my
It's
gosh.
so creative. You've taken hair braiding. I like a proud auntie. You have taken my passion of braiding hair and took it
hmm
to new heights, to a whole nother level. You embedded and infused your creativity in it
Yes.
based off of like your worldview, right? And also how you exude the world with your artistic background and photography and eclectic spirit. And you have literally shaped a booming business in a very short period
Thank you.
of time.
Actually, I didn't get to tell you, but I did book my whole February out. I have no more February availability.
Now, ladies and
Amazing.
gentlemen,
Yes, that's what we want to hear.
ladies and gentlemen,
Books
you are
and
listening.
busy.
You are listening.
I'm trying to be. I'm trying to be. But yes, I am at Atlanta Braid Princess on Instagram and
That's
TikTok.
amazing.
March bookings are open because February is closed.
That's so cool. And you just started, and it don't matter. That just tells you if an idea in a couple of months can
hmm
burst into being fully shut down and booked, like you literally can do anything you put your mind to. And
Yes.
who's gonna stop you?
Yes.
I'm so
Nobody.
excited.
I'm so
Nobody. That's
excited.
cool.
So excited.
Well,
And that's another thing too, because I'm like, it's so crazy. Back to the original topic, but like, you know, so I'll just be super candid, because like, so I left a more structured role
mhm.
to start working for myself, and in between when I was like, okay, I'm gonna start going to business for myself, and when I had this structured role, I would not have been able to create the income that I have for myself now or the business that I run now without the time that I had to take to kind of like pour into myself and kind of
hmm
like build myself back up again,
Mhm.
become more confident in myself and kind of build a certain level of self-love and self-respect that I was like, okay, I can take this on and I can like handle this and I can make something of this. You know what I mean? It's just, there is no, it's simple math. Like there is no exertion, there is no building something, there is no taking care of anyone else, there is no anything external until you take care of your internal to the
Yeah.
best of your ability. None of us will ever be perfect.
Right.
That is human life. There's always got something going
Yep.
on. There's always, oh, I wish I was better at this, or I wish I could do that. But yeah, I hope all people listening take this opportunity to think of something good, kind, sweet, and helpful and healthy they can do for themselves, and they do it to whether it be a 15-minute yoga video, whether it be a nap that they take. I saw talking about naps, whether it be a nap, a 30-minute power
Mm-hmm.
nap when you can sneak one, whether it be, making a healthy, tasty snack and bringing it with you to work so you can have something to perk you up in the middle of the day. Doesn't have to be crazy, but you deserve it.
Yes, absolutely.
Y'all heard it first. Check out Sule is a mogul in the making. I'm super excited. I'm so proud to be your auntie. Like, I'm just so excited. Thank you so much for joining us today. We love you, and I wish you nothing but the best, girl. For real.
Yes, all of the best,
Thank
all of the
you.
joy, all of
I
the
love you,
peace.
Queen Beauty Podcast.
We love you
It's
back.
enjoyable. This is very enjoyable for me. So, welcome back, you all. Catch us next time for some more Queen Beauty loving, and be on the lookout for the next twist because it might come back sooner than you think.
Absolutely. Thank you for spending some time with your listening ears. Peace and love.
Ciao.
Peace, beautiful people.